We're at the Northwest Regional Water Reclamation Facility. This is ONWASA's newest and largest wastewater treatment plant, and it's only been open a couple of years now. So the treatment process, when everything is functioning normally, is like this. Sewer comes from across Onslow County, Highway 258, the Richlands area. It flows into what's called the headworks, which is the tall tower behind me. At the headworks, large objects are removed from the waste stream, things that probably shouldn't be there, and it falls into a dumpster. The wastewater is elevated so that it can then flow by gravity through the plant. Now the next stage in the process is these large tanks, the two large blue tanks behind me. They're called single batch reactors, and water is stored in one and treated in another. If you think about those large tanks, it's kind of like your stomach. We have bacteria that are cultivated, biological processes that happen in those tanks that break down the wastewater. The cleaner wastewater is then pumped out of that tank into something called a post-equalization basin, which is another very large tank behind those two. And anything that's unable to be digested, the sludge, if you will, settles to the bottom during one part of the process, and then that's removed and pumped into separate tanks, where it is then hauled off by qualified waste handlers and is normally dried and then either applied to cropland for non-human consumption, or it's placed in the landfill. So we contract the removal of that sludge. Behind these two buildings, you'll see a very large beige building in the back. Now after the biological processes have completed, and basically the trillions upon trillions of bacteria inside those single batch reactors have done their job breaking things down, the wastewater in the large plant over there, the large building, goes through a series of ultra fine membrane systems that basically screen out any other particulates. Now then after that, it goes into UV ultraviolet radiation chambers. So all of the wastewater passes through channels and tanks where it's exposed to high doses of ultraviolet radiation that kills basically anything else that's living. After that, it goes into a chlorination area where chlorine can be added just to make sure as a secondary disinfectant that everything is clean. Then it's normally pumped into two things. It can either be sold at this plant as reclaimed water. In the industry, it's called purple pipe, so it's suitable for watering your lawn, for non-human consumption, for applying to construction sites, things like that, use in road construction, or it's pumped to something called infiltration basins. Now these are basically large ponds. The dirt is all engineered carefully, but the dirt and clay layers have been removed almost down to the bedrock, and the water is pumped in, and then it slowly infiltrates back into the ground, and the ground itself provides that final layer of filtration before it joins the superficial aquifer, or the groundwater table. So actually, when this plant is operating perfectly, the wastewater, after it's been fully treated, is cleaner than the ditch water you would find out beside the roadway. Almost everything has been removed from it that can be removed from it. So that is under normal operation.